710 ESPN Seattle presents Brock and Salk's Wrap-Up.
Powered by the law offices of Heidi Hunt.
All right, welcome to the warm-up. I'm clearly not Kevin Calabro. Matt Pitman in for KC today, along with the go-to guy, Jim Moore. I think we're both ready to go, running. We're ready to go, do push-ups, climb the ropes, and all that stuff.
Brady, get the stand, man. Eric Wedge, go M's!
Wow!
Go M's, yeah! Yes, go M's! Yeah!
Already more than
Woo!
Why is Jim freaking out?
We're not going to contend.
So pumped up.
We're not going to contend, but I'd run through walls for Eric Wedge, wouldn't you? How do I do?
Absolutely.
My face kind of red?
No, you're breathing a little bit heavy. He's going to catch his break. He's going to catch his breath. We'll take a quick break and come back and tell you why he's so pumped up. So Eric Wedge at the annual Mariners Media Luncheon, which is one of my favorite things, just because it signifies, hey, baseball's around the horizon, and we get a free lunch out of it. Eric Wedge was, he was in mid-season form today, and fired up, and the continuing message of accountability. It's now time in his mind for these young players, and boy, if you can't buy into what Eric Wedge believes, then you might need to have your pulse checked, because he was fired up. He had me fired up.
Well, yeah, he talked about the offense. He's ready for the offense to take strides. I was surprised when Larry Stone of the Times asked both Zarincic and Eric Wedge if this team was going to contend this year. Because, I guess you got to throw that out there, right?
Sure, I think fans want to know, right? People want to know.
Everybody knows this team's not going to contend. Not this year. But except for Eric Wedge.
Eric Wedge.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah, Jack came out and flat out said it's going to be a challenge, obviously, with what the Angels and the Rangers have done and just where the Mariners are with their big league roster and this continuing development of the plan. How many times do we hear the plan today referred to by every one of those speakers? But Eric Wedge says, why not? Crazier things have happened. Baseball's a long season. Funny things happen. Injuries happen. Guys get hot. Guys make careers. Guys have those career years.
Is it a 4-team division?
Yeah, but let's be realistic though.
There's two that are really good.
I tell you what though, I have a much clearer picture of what Eric Wedge is seeing, and what we perceive to be some backlogs at positions in the outfield, the catcher situation. Is it going to be Montero? Is it going to be Olivo? I think we've seen the last of Ichiro leading off. Eric Wedge isn't really pulling any punches. He's kind of laying his cards out on the table, and the thing that I like about that is it gives fans expectations, something reasonable to kind of take into spring training and into the season. But boy, it really lays things out pretty clearly for those players too, right?
Well, yeah. Everybody knows what to expect, and getting back to Eric Wedge, I just can't say. I think Lou Piniella will be my all-time Mariner manager, and every Mariner fan thinks the world of Lou. But number two.
I really do.
Number two has to be Eric Wedge at this point. Every time I talk to him and every time I see him, I just am more of an Eric Wedge believer. And I love that. I don't necessarily think he's going to throw players under the bus this year, but I sure as hell know that he's not going to take any crap. He's just, the way he talked about it today, it's the big leagues. You got to produce. Right. You either produce or you're going to be in Tacoma. Mm-hmm. More or less, that's what he said.
Yeah. Expectations is the word that he used over and over again. And I can't wait until spring training pans out about 2-3 weeks in, and then we get to the point where we start playing in Cactus League games, and we get a look at the lineup cards that he's going to be filling out. I think we've seen the end of Ichiro leading off. I think Eric Wedge, we first heard about it in some really pointed comments with you and Mike Salk last night at the Sports Star of the Year banquet, and then today it was right in line with what he said. And the thing that stood out to me, Jim, was when asked, who do you have in mind for that leadoff spot? He didn't hesitate. Oh, I like Ackley there. I like you give opportunity. He didn't hesitate at all. Ackley, Figgins were his two. He even mentioned Franklin Gutierrez.
Yeah, he's set on that, and I don't. And we were talking about it before the video began. He's made up his mind already. He's seen enough from last year. What, Ichiro's suddenly going to be this guy who works the count? We're not going to see that. The guy's been in baseball for, 20 years, 18, 20 years. He's not going to change. And you and I were talking about it. I think Ichiro would be an ideal number 2 hitter.
I do too. Put the ball in play.
Maybe Figgins will be rejuvenated hitting leadoff.
Yeah.
I'm not a Figgins fan at all. I don't think anybody is in town.
What?
But if it can somehow get him going, boy, he's going to have a good start, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Figgins just from the get-go is going to have a good start. But if I had to bet everything I had, and if I were a betting man, but
luckily you're
not. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. But if I were, I'd bet everything I had that it's going to be Figgins leading off for the Mariners in that first game in Japan. As crazy as that sounds.
No,
but
I actually would side right there with you if he's able to put together a good body of work in the early portion of the Cactus League, when he's going to get, I think, a good shot at some at-bats in that leadoff spot in Cactus League play. But I'll tell you what, they gave Sean Figgins a 4-year, $36 million deal. And what was he, how was he, did he get to that deal? He was a successful leadoff hitter with the Angels. And you asked him to become something completely different than what he was to get to that point. And if you put him back in that spot, I think he could succeed.
I don't know if Ichiro's upset about that. I have no idea how he feels about it. But, I mean, just...
Have a pretty good
if you were to play along, if you got Figgins on first base and if you have a hit and run, you got the second baseman or the shortstop moving, there's going to be more holes for Ichiro to maybe get some of his seeing eye singles or whatever, or infield singles. I think it would help Ichiro. It would help Figgins. It would help the entire team. And I don't want to see... I want to see Ackley, hitting number 3 then?
Ideally.
Because he's a run-producing kind of guy,
he can drive the ball. He puts the ball in the gap. He laces balls up the middle. Guy on second base, ball up the middle. That's a run right there.
Montero at 4, and Smoke at 5, Carp at 6.
So you're telling me you have hope.
7?
You have hope that this team can score, because the thing that Eric Wedge said.
Well, they're still going to suck, but they're going to be they're going to suck less. Right? They're going to suck less than they used to.
What about you? Any hope? What do you think about Ichiro falling out of the leadoff spot? We'll tackle that all starting at 3. The Kevin Calabro Show at 710 ESPN Seattle. Have some hope.
Go M's.
Is that going to be their new slogan? Suck less.
Go M's.